Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Jay Encarnacion, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we are thrilled to have Moe Carrick, the founder and CEO of Moementum. Moe brings a fascinating mix of expertise in organizational development and human-centered leadership, over 35 years of experience in consulting and coaching, and a passion for helping leaders build workplaces that are fit for human life. Based in Bend, Oregon, Moementum, founded in 2001 and certified as a B Corp, is revolutionizing how organizations foster team alignment, culture, and leadership to reduce turnover and enhance engagement. We'll be exploring her founding story, how her business empowers clients in the leadership and culture space, and her vision for scaling this impact-driven venture. So with that being said, let's dive right into it. Moe, welcome to Founders Future.
Thank you so much, Jay. So nice to talk with you today.
An absolute pleasure to have you on the show. It truly is. And really would love to start at the beginning for our listeners with you here, Moe. So if you could talk a bit about what specific problem in the workplace culture landscape really inspired you to start Moementum.
I worked. That's the gist. I worked in companies, and I noticed as an internal consultant in a number of organizations that a lot of people were really miserable at work. And I had my own share of job misery. And as a systems thinker, which is the field I'm trained in, organizational development, I started to get really curious, like, why are we so miserable? Like, work is important to us. What does it look like when we aren't miserable at work? What's possible? And so when I decided to go out on my own and leave working for someone else, I was really committed to helping leaders figure out the right mix of strategies and actions that they could take to create a workplace that really is fit for human life. Because I believe really deeply that our work matters to our sense of who we are in the world. And so I think we need to work. And I think that organizations need us to work as well. So how do we make it more fulfilling all the way around? I think that was what motivated me.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. I definitely want to get into the nuts and bolts of what you're doing with Moementum. You've been in the space for quite some time and have been seeing success, Moe. So really walk us through, especially for our listeners, once this airs, are most likely going to come and work with you with the services you offer. I have a three-part question for you here. So what is the core offer? I know that you have tailored coaching, you have workshops, you have the culture building services. How are those offers structured for your clients? And what is the ideal client that you like to work with?
I love it. Thanks for that question. In the space I'm in, probably true for many people out there that are starting their own business, it's not always easy to define who the ideal audience is because I have always felt my whole career as a consultant and coach, oh, I can work with anyone, which is true. I can work with anyone. But I would say the particular passion place for me, what I'm the most obsessed with really is helping founders and leaders of organizations, business owners in particular, for I would say small to mid-sized businesses. So those companies that are between 50 and 500 employees who are at a point of scaling, who often they're not big enough. They're not 10,000 employees. They're not 30,000 employees. They're not 3 million employees, although I've certainly worked with those organizations, but they're big enough that they need to start paying attention to leadership and team health and organizational culture, but they don't have internalized resources dedicated to that. They don't have the kinds of resources that a big company has to put towards the people part of the equation. That's our sweet spot, I would say. I also have a particular passion for both healthcare and education, two sectors that are really broken in many ways right now here in North America and probably globally as well, that I love helping leaders tackle. Our core offering really does center on three pillars for organizational thriving, which includes, of course, the organization making money year over year and meeting their mission goals. They are building leaders that are good for people, creating conscious, brave cultures, and enhancing the capacity for teams to be cohesive. Teams are really the building block for high performance. So leadership, team, and culture are the three spaces we work. Each of those spaces have a core product set. So for example, in our Leaders Who Are Good for People, we have our Leading People program, which is our signature program that just very narrowly focuses on that aspect of people leadership that requires connection, requires emotional intelligence, et cetera. And there's similar products in each space. To us, Jay, it doesn't really matter where we start. I always feel like an organization can really start anywhere in those three pillars to get traction under the wheels of their tires to move into being a more human-centric and effective organization. And human-centric doesn't mean not profitable. Like I run a for-profit company, so this is not about like charity. Like we want people to feel good. That's not what it's about. We want to run good businesses. And when we run good businesses, we can attract and keep the talent we need and also contribute to the communities that we serve.
Absolutely. And just incredible. You've been doing it again for quite some time now. So I would love to hear from you. You have an array of offerings that are very productized as well. So what's your mindset now that you have been in the game for quite some time? Are you still looking to scale and take it to that next level, Mo? Or are you comfortable with how things are? Are you keeping it more boutique? Would love to hear your take on that.
Yeah, another great question. You mentioned I've been at a long time. Yes, I can tell that there's quite an age difference between us. I have a lot of gray hair, earned every one of these today. I'm
Fantastic. No
telling you what.
worries.
And I think because of that, I'm at a different stage, which is I'm closer probably to the end of my career than I am to the beginning. I have enough wisdom to feel like I know what I'm good at, what I'm not as good at. I
Yeah.
do sometimes think about legacy, like what is, in particular, what does the firm leave behind? And what the firm leaves behind is a way of doing things and IP that we've created over 30 plus years to define how we do things. So I think what I'm focused on right now is continuing to try to scale through a licensee process, through empowering other younger coaches and consultants, especially younger people than myself, to bring this work to organizations. I do believe strongly that it's all hands on deck in the world of work right now. And I also believe that the future of work requires us to get better at leveraging what only humans can do. Because in the face of AI, machine automation, everything else, if we don't get really good at that, we're going to end up with a lot of people who aren't working because AI is doing their jobs. And there are plenty of jobs that actually only humans can do. So I think every organization in the land, every job in the land is going to be impacted by technology tomorrow. So that means we have to think really differently. We get to think differently about our workforce and how we create connectedness, how we create belongingness, how we create productive partnership and collaboration. And so my legacy right now is more about how do I scale just enough to bring more people in to carry that legacy forward in a way that matters as I begin to move back a little bit.
To be on the beach sipping pina coladas.
That sounds good. Yes.
Not too bad, and you've earned it.
Not
You
bad,
deserve it.
right?
I do. It truly is. It resonates so strongly with me, and I have so many founders on the show. And a big topic is AI, and what the future looks like. So your focus being, hey, we need to keep that human centric vision going because it is going to be super important to know what we're going to be doing moving forward because AI is only getting smarter. It is only growing. And in a few years from now, who knows what the workforce is going to look like? Absolutely incredible having you on the show, walking us through and talking us through your mindset there. I would really love to hear from you, Mo, on the acquisition side. Obviously, I've seen success for quite some time. What is working best now, as you mentioned, with AI, with technology and the advancements? What channels are you utilizing now that are most effective for consistent lead generation for you?
Yeah, this has been, I would say for me, the hardest part of the practice.
Yeah.
As a consultant and coach, I consider myself really expert in what I do, but I'm not a marketer. I can sell that part I'm pretty good at, but you can't sell to people who don't know about you. One of my coaches said to me recently, your biggest problem is your obscurity. And I think that's true. I think it's absolutely true. So where I feel strong and what we focus on a lot in, I would call it like mid-funnel area is like establishing expertise. So I've done the TED Talks, I've written the books, I've got 3 books under my belt. I publish prolifically on LinkedIn. I host a monthly roundtable. Like we have an engine. We've got a newsletter that publishes twice weekly. I'm a guest on other people's podcasts. Like all of that to me is table stakes. But it's taken me 10 years to like just get that engine really going. I think the next big opportunity for me and another area that's been hard to crack is more top of funnel. So like what about the people that don't know about me and my firm's work already? How do we get access to them? How do we help them understand that there are other ways to work and that they would be good partners? And that's, I think, very much about the quality and type of social engagement that we do, the quality and type of in-person events that I attend and that we attend through speaking, through workshops, and through in-person networking that allow that top of funnel to really expand.
Absolutely. A big thing that I have on the show with a lot of different founders is of course, predictability, and you are putting yourself out there, going to in-person events. But for more predictability on that side, are you done ads? Are you looking into ads and adjusting the messaging around that? What's the mindset there for a bit more predictability on that front?
I haven't cracked that nut, and I'm open. Like you and your organization probably know more about ads than I do. I've tried some ads. They haven't typically generated high top of funnel. Partly the main platform we've been on has been LinkedIn, which I think is how we met.
Yes.
I've also used Instagram a bit, but Instagram's not really where my audience is, other than one group. So one group of my audience is going to be like speaker planners and conference planners, and they
Yes.
are on Instagram. So I'm getting ready to convert that Instagram to be more for that space. I haven't had a lot of success with LinkedIn ads, partly because I feel like it's complicated
Yeah.
to create those ads. The area that I hear and that I observe is really big, that I also haven't invested in very heavily, is video.
Hmm.
Like being on YouTube, having regular content that comes out in that video format. And I don't know if that investment is worthwhile at my age and stage, possibly.
Yeah, I think it definitely will be. You have a wonderful presence about you, and it absolutely would be a great investment for you. You're already seeing the success, so it's only going to be able to boost it that much more and continue to get the message out. On that front, do you have a team behind you, Mo, or are you really running most of the sales? I know you said you like doing the sales. Do you have a sales team, a marketing team? What does that team aspect look like working with you right now?
Yeah, we've done both. I've had a bigger team at various times. I think the biggest the team ever was 10 people
Okay.
on
Yep.
salary with contractors. Now I'm much smaller. I've got 3 people that are on salary, and then I've got a team of contractors that support us both for marketing and also like operations support. And yeah, that's how we're doing it.
So you're running the sales from start to finish?
Sales, pretty much, our sales process right now is, because most of our work is customized for the client, although we're pulling from those product suites I mentioned, it does require a conversation. So we're not really selling anything in a purely online way, although we have experimented with some of that. So typically the sales process is that we get to a booking, that's all the top and mid funnel work. We have a conversation, we generate a proposal, we close the deal, and then we're contracted at
I
that
love
point. So right now the team helps with everything except the sales call. I
it.
bring in the person who's delivering the work, comes in once we've confirmed the contract, usually.
I absolutely love that. I have a good idea of some of the bottlenecks here, which is really going to be around more the predictability on the lead
Yeah.
generation side. Sounds like the main one. Are there any others besides that as a bottleneck that you're looking to break through this year, or is that really the main one that you're trying to crack?
I think, yeah, the predictability of finding clients that have a need for what
Yeah,
we offer at the right time, having more conversations, having more in the pipeline to close. Those are probably the biggest areas, combined with reducing or minimizing obscurity. I'm in a very competitive space. Leadership is very competitive. There's 1,000 gurus out there, and I try pretty hard not to be in the inspirational leadership guru space. I'm much more interested in practical tools that help people to advance the work in their systems. But I think it's always about exposure to new audiences that are the right audience.
absolutely. Absolutely. Paint us the picture. With that in mind, obviously knowing the offer you bring to the table, all the pieces that you have set out, what does the rest of this year look like for you in your mind, Mo? What are you really laser focused on for that continued success?
I think getting on bigger stages that
Okay.
are
Yeah,
audience exposure for, because I'm also a speaker, for what it is we're trying to sell, making sure that our POC process is vibrant and consistent. In other words, people are like coming into our arena and are feeling like they're getting stuff that helps them. They feel empowered to make a difference in their space. And then I would say the third is, for me right now, is really enhancing and expanding that contractor and consulting pool of licensees that are empowered to deliver the work through a relationship with us.
absolutely. Love that. So I would love to get a bit of your vision here, what you're seeing the workplace culture and leadership industry as a whole and its evolution in the coming years. As we've already spoken about with AI and technology and just the direction that everything's going, you have a very human centered approach with everything. How are you really keeping yourself at the forefront of this evolution in the space?
Yeah, I think that the challenge that I see in every business,
Yeah.
small and large, is attracting and keeping the good talent that you need. So we've got this weird paradox between human beings that desperately want to work and need jobs and are having trouble finding them. Let's face it, young people especially. Job market is not isn't easy. We're having lots of people feel lots of rejection. They apply to job after job. They get form letters from AI. It can feel really demoralizing. And then we have companies, large and small, who can't seem to keep talent. They can't retain talent, especially different kinds of demographic talent that's important to them. We have hybrid work environments and virtual work environments that make connectedness, team morale, and culture very challenging. They're harder to build virtually than they are in person, although not impossible, but it takes conscious attempts and conscious mechanisms. So what I feel is going to be the Achilles heel or the biggest opportunity for business leaders of the future regards to their workforce is how do they actually create the kinds of leaders that people want to work for
Yes.
and the culture that allows people to live the life they want without having their work suck the life out of them. That's what people want today.
Yeah.
And they're being very discerning. And I think we're seeing continued growth in entrepreneurship because more and more people are saying, I actually don't want to, I'm not seeing what I want out there in an employer. So I'm going to become a solopreneur or an entrepreneur themselves. And if everybody leaves the workforce,
Right.
companies cannot do what they need to do at scale.
Absolutely.
So that's what I predict in the future of work. And I worry about it because I think that young people are taking no prisoners. They're like, hello, I don't want to work the way my ancestors did. Thank you very much.
Yep.
It's not for you.
I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more. So, with that, I do want to take us into the lightning round here before we close out the show, Mo. And it's been truly an honor and a pleasure having you on. I think it's super important to be speaking about this. So, I truly love the conversation that we're having. I know our listeners are as well. On this front, I would love to hear from you about a tool or a resource that you're using, whether it's a psychological need framework from one of your books or a leadership strategy or an AI tool. What's been the biggest game changer for Momentum this far?
I am benefiting from AI.
Yes.
Like I find that for content creation, for notes synthesizing, report generation, for coaching tracking, I am saving in my team. We are saving hours and hours of time by getting really good at leveraging AI for things that used to take a long time, like assimilating 3 days worth of a planning retreat and making meaning out of that data. Like we as humans, we can do that. I've done it for years, but is it my highest and best use? No. So I use chat, I use Claude, we use a variety of different types of AI tools and we have to use them strategically. Like it's not a no-brainer. We're not just putting garbage in because then we get garbage out, but using them strategically is fast tracking, I would say, the value we can add to our clients with our thought leadership and our connectedness in a much more efficient way. And I'm like a young baby boomer, but
Yes.
it's been very intimidating to lean in to using those technologies. But I think I feel very good, and our business has certainly been enhanced by taking better advantage, getting smarter and more wise with how we use the tools that are out there, and also maintaining integrity with how we want to use them and where we want to use them. But yeah, I think that's probably the biggest game changer.
I love it. I love it. Two more questions for you before we wrap up, Mo. The first is going to be on the advice side for you. What is the best advice that you have personally ever received yourself about scaling a business as you are doing now?
Don't be afraid to experiment. Don't be afraid to experiment. Everything requires testing. And
Yes.
that goes with like experiment, but track the data. Like the numbers are what will tell you what's working. The numbers of people that buy, the numbers of people that resonate with your content. So I think, yeah, don't be afraid to experiment is one of those pieces of advice.
Love it. I love it. And then last, certainly not least here, Mo, what is the best piece of advice that you can offer to our listeners tuning in and just heard your incredible journey and story? What can you leave them with before we wrap up today?
I would say really remember that you're enough as you are.
Mm.
I think so often being an entrepreneur, being a founder, we can tell ourselves a story that we have to become something we're not. And I think when we do that, we lose a lot of authenticity and a lot of integrity. For all of us, when we show up as we are, that means we also show up with our imperfections, with our gaps, with our weaknesses. But that's what allows us to be seen and be accepted in a real way. So I think remembering you're enough as you are, figuring out ways to show up authentically that are consistent with your values, I think really helps build success as an entrepreneur.
Love it. I absolutely love that. With that right there, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to wrap up another inspiring episode of Founders Future. And Mo, I truly cannot thank you enough. I could sit here for hours and speak to you. You just have a calming presence about you, and it's truly been an honor and a pleasure to have you on the show today. And to our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, which I know so many of you have, don't forget to subscribe to Founders Future wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. And also don't forget to check out Moementum at Moementum.com for their free resources like their downloadable tools and newsletters. And also follow Mo on LinkedIn at LinkedIn.com/in/Moe Carrick. For more resources and insights, you can visit us here at Closers.io, where we are dedicated to helping businesses accelerate their growth. Until then, keep climbing, and we will see you on the next one.